Hi, Lucy. So I just looked through your essay and you have some really nice effects here, some very nice photos. I think this page here, this slide, with all of these empty street photos is particularly effective, really giving a feeling of empty New York. Um, so it feels like it works. It gives a lot of variety. And I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to show sort of a contrast of the way things were to the way things are now. And I think that that's a really interesting way to go. Let me give you some feedback as your viewer how it plays to me. One thing, and this is a small thing that doesn't have to do with what I just said, but be careful of your text being able to, for the reader to be able to read. I have a really hard time with some of it, empty streets in particular. Um, this page, just kind of hard to see. So it requires a lot of playing around to figure that out. And that's something that you can do at the end. But let's just look at the photos and think about how they're coming across. So the first one here, there used to be people walking around everywhere so much you could bump into everyone. Bump into everyone. To me, this photograph doesn't really show that. If you want your text to be that there used to be so many people everywhere, so much you could bump into everyone, I think that you might have to get, if you want to have a photo that's showing that, you would have to have a photo that that really showed that. It might even be that you get a stock photo online of an aerial view maybe of people that are so where the streets are so crowded that you would bump into everyone. I don't really feel that this photograph shows that. Of course, these really are a contrast of empty streets, but I think if you really want to have a contrast, which is I think what you're trying to do through this essay, the contrast would really have to be stark, and I don't really see that here. It's kind of similar here. There used to be doors open everywhere. I think one of my things that I'm kind of confused about here is that the door's not open. So, if you want to say that doors are open everywhere, to me, the photo would have to have a door that was open, or your text would need to be different. Um, maybe it's not, maybe your text doesn't say that the doors are open everywhere. Maybe it says something else about being open. Signs are open, signs are well, I don't know. But like I said, the text says here, there used to be doors open everywhere, but this door, even though it says open, the door is not open. Um, and then here, but now there are closed signs all over the door. So I don't know if you want the contrast here to be something about the sign. I don't know. But like I said, it doesn't, what your text says is not what the photograph is not really supporting. So that's that. And then closed signs. This is really hard to see what the sign says. And I'm going to say that the sign probably says something more than just closed. And that might be something that you want to bring out in the text, that it's not just about, a store being closed. It's more about some of the bigger message inside of this message, which, like I said, I really can't read. But I see a little something about COVID-19. So looking at these, one is your text doesn't really fit what the photograph is showing. And here I think it's something bigger than a closed sign. It's not just a closed sign, it's something more than that. Here you're making a point about an airport. There used to be bustling stores and airports. I'm not really sure what you mean by that, bustling stores and airports. There are still airports. Are you trying to say there used to be bustling stores at airports? I'm not really sure how the airport fits here. Again, there used to be bustling stores and airports. I'm not, there, like I said, there are still airports, so that's a little bit confusing. Think about what it is you're trying to show here. And then here, you know, there are people outside here. Are you trying? I mean, I feel like what this shows is people getting online to go into this store, but they're social distancing. Here, I don't know, people are not social distancing. So what do you want to show through these photos? Think about that, and try to figure out how the text might show more of something that these two photographs show. I hope that that's clear. So here, there used to be bustling stores and airports. There are still airports here, but now the shops are bare and empty. You're not showing a shop that's bare and empty. You're showing a sidewalk with people, standing far apart from each other. So what is it that you would really like to show here? Think about that if you're going to continue to use that photograph. And then here again, this is really hard for me to read. The city is different now. People no longer crowd the streets. New York City has finally changed, but I'm not sure what the change is that you're trying to say, and I'm not sure what you mean about finally changed. I mean, maybe what this kind of gives me a sense of, are you happy that the streets are empty? Do you prefer empty streets in New York City? I don't know what you mean by New York City has finally changed. So I think what you need to do is kind of go back and think, what is the story that you're trying to show through your photographs? What do you want your reader to know? What is the big thing that you're trying to bring out through these photographs? Look through the photographs. It might be that you need to kind of start over and maybe think about, like, what is the story I want to tell before maybe just kind of laying the photographs out. It is unclear to me. The streets are empty. What do you want to say about those empty streets? Are you trying to say, like I said, if I look at your ending here, New York City has finally changed. I'm not really sure. So here's my advice. If you were to go back and listen to some of the things that I'm trying to say as your reader, the first thing would be, what do you want this essay to show? What do you want this through line of thought to show through these photographs about empty streets? And then if you think about that first, then what photographs would you need to show that story? What do you want me to understand? Is there a feeling of loneliness? Is the feeling of emptiness somehow surprising to you? I'm not really sure. Like I said, the idea that you are bringing out with the photographs that you have, there used to be bustling streets. The streets are empty now. The doors used to be open. The doors are closed now. There used to be bustling stores and airports, but now the shops are empty. Go back and look. I think maybe the first thing I would do is I would really think about what I want my idea to be, and then come back and look critically at what you have. And what I mean critically is just thoughtfully, not looking to see what's wrong, and see if you can kind of see through the eyes of me, your viewer, into these photographs. It might be, I'm going to say it probably is going, you're probably going to have to, once you reimagine what you want this essay to be, you're probably going to have to reimagine some of these photographs as well. And think about, what is the big thing that you want to say? That would be the first big question that I would ask you, and then kind of go and look through and see, where am I trying to say that? Where am I almost saying the thing that I want to say? And where am I not? Before just going through and kind of fixing up what's here, maybe imagining, if you think about what the story is that you want to tell, the big idea and story that you want to tell. What did I do here? How can I tell that through photographs? And maybe I would give it another go. Okay, so listen to this, look through your slides, see if you understand what I'm trying to get at, and you let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so it's a good first go, but think it through again. Okay.